Anne-Marie Goring, a white liberal woman who undoubtedly owns several cats, made excuses for why she gave the attackers such lenient sentences.
I don't like clowns.
Oh, Mommy, this is progress.
A recent hate crime conviction in Germany really shocked me and showed in stark contrast how Western society holds hate crimes to be much worse than actual crimes, even when that actual crime is the gang rape of a child. A 20-year-old woman sent messages to a man who'd taken part in the gang rape, calling him a disgraceful pig. And incredibly, the woman was given a harsher sentence than the rapist. It all stemmed from a horrific rape case. A 15-year-old girl had been drinking with friends in a park in Hamburg, got separated from her friends, and then, in a drunken stupor and completely unable to defend herself, was raped by a group of men. The rapist stole her wallet and her phone, so she was unable to call the police or her friends. It didn't end there. The attack was filmed and shared on WhatsApp, calling friends of the rapist to come and join in. And they did. Other men turned up and raped her over several hours. The DNA of 9 of the men was recovered from her body. Try not to think too much about what recovering DNA means in a situation like this. And the rapists were a smorgasbord of identities, with an Egyptian, a Libyan, a Kuwaiti, a Pole, an Iranian, an Armenian, an Afghan, a Syrian, and a Montenegrin. What a wonderful example of an integrated multicultural community. It must have been like getting raped by an ad break. Apparently none of the attackers was of German heritage. Only one of the rapists was given any jail time, an Iranian man who explained his crime in court by saying, "What man doesn't want that? What man doesn't want to gang rape a child? Maybe a man who's from a civilized high-trust society." I mean, I'm pretty sure that if I WhatsApp my mates a video of me raping a drunk child and said, "Hey, come down to the park, there's an incapacitated child you can rape," my mates wouldn't be like, "Thumbs up emoji, sounds like a plan, should I bring snacks?" No, they'd report me to the police, the grasses. I guess when we're told that diversity is a strength because it brings different cultural perspectives, these are the different cultural perspectives they're talking about. So far, a horrific but grimly commonplace crime for a European country that's imported huge numbers of young men from medieval misogynistic cultures. In many Middle Eastern countries, in a situation like this, the woman is punished. Germany has suffered waves of similar attacks, such as the New Year's sexual assaults, and the authorities always try to brush it under the carpet, as they did this time. The judge, Anne-Marie Goring, a white liberal woman who undoubtedly owns several cats, made excuses for why she gave the attackers such lenient sentences.
Yes, let's have a look-see.
Incredibly, Judge Anne-Marie Goring, who handed down the lenient sentences, gave an interview complaining that she was being unfairly targeted because of the case and defended the sentences, saying that the reporting was inflammatory far-right racist bigotry, and rather than being raped, the drunk 15-year-old girl had initiated group sex in a bush in a public park. Although the judge then goes on to contradict herself by saying that in the first set of offences, the victim was able to make it clear that she did not consent. So the judge wants us to believe that the child was gang raped against her will, but following this, then spent several hours wandering around the park demanding sex from groups of migrants who reluctantly agreed to the request, presumably because they're feminists and are keen to assimilate with Western society. Press X to doubt. The prosecution of the rapist was held behind closed doors. The judge says this was done not to prevent it from being covered in the media, but to protect the victim, who remembers almost nothing from the night, from reading horrific details in the media. But if that's really the reason, I'm not sure how delightful it'll be for the victim to read that the judge blames her. The judge excused the lenient sentences, saying that she saw a greater need for education among the accused so that they can develop positively and finally start to deal with the crime. Blaming this on lack of education is a pretty much tacit admission that in their original cultures, this behaviour is acceptable and the authorities know this.
They do? Of course they do.
One of the rapists had his phone number and identity leaked on the internet. A 20-year-old woman from Hamburg messaged him, calling him a dishonourable rapist pig and a disgusting freak. According to the prosecution, the woman also threatened the man that he would not be able to go anywhere without getting a punch in the face, and also wrote, "Aren't you ashamed when you look in the mirror, and let's hope you're just locked up." Knowing that Germany's hate crime laws made such abuse illegal, the rapist reported the woman to the police and she was charged for insulting the man. She was sentenced to a weekend in jail. Incredibly, this was a more severe sentence than the rapist was handed himself.
This is progress. Feminism, innit?
She's just one of 140 people being investigated over hate crimes for messaging the rapists. 140 people. It's incredible that they can't find the resources to stop these sexual assaults, but there's infinite resources to stop people complaining about them. This is lawfare being used against the people to suppress entirely valid anger. And it's not for the first time either. This is soon after a young female politician was convicted after quoting official rape statistics that showed Afghan migrants are hugely overrepresented as perpetrators of sex offences. Labour politician Naz Shah, you might spread the message that child victims of gang rape should just shut up for the good of diversity. This case is sending a message to these men that, yeah, you can do what you want, don't worry. And if anyone complains, we'll jail them. And if they want to vote for a right-wing party who might deal with this situation, we'll ban that party. Why does society ignore horrific, life-changing crimes and focus on quelling the backlash instead? It's like the grooming gangs. Children drugged and raped so brutally that they require colostomy bags for life.